Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana
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 Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha
Rajagacharya Ashtotarashat Shri Śrīmad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahans Nitya Leela Pravishta His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai Namacharya Shil Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंपल डिवोटीज All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 12th chapter, text number 4. सूत उवाच अपीपलात् धर्मराजः अपीपलद्धर्मराजः पितृवत् रञ्जयन् प्रजाः पितृवद्रञ्जयन् प्रजाः निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः कृष्ण पादानुसेवया कृष्ण पादानुसेवया। सूत उवाच अपीपलद्धर्मराजः पितृवद्रञ्जयन् प्रजाः निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः कृष्णपादानुसेवया। 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 सूत उवाच अपीपलद्धर्मराजः निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः कृष्णपादानुसेवया। सूत उवाच Sri Suta Goswami said, Apipalat, administered properly, Dharmarajaha, King Yudhisthira, Pitravat, exactly like his father, Ranjayan, pleasing, Prajaha, all those who took birth, Nisprihaha, without personal ambition, Sarva, all, Kamebhyaha, from sense gratification, Krishna Pada, the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, Anusevaya, by dint of rendering continuous service. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Sri Suta Goswami said, Emperor Yudhisthira administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna. Please repeat. Sri Suta Goswami said, Emperor Yudhisthira administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Shri Krishna. Purport. As mentioned in our introduction, there is a need for the signs of Krishna in human society, for all the suffering humanity of the world. And we simply request the leading personalities of all nations to take to the signs of Krishna for their own good, for the good of society, and for the good of all the people of the world. So it is confirmed herein by the example of Maharaj Yudhisthira, the personality of goodness. In India, the people hanker after Ram Rajya because the personality of Godhead was the ideal king, and all other kings or emperors in India controlled the destiny of the world for the prosperity of every living being who took birth on the earth. Herein the word Prajaha is significant. The etymological importance of the word is that which is born. On the earth there are many species of life, from the aquatics up to the perfect human beings, and all are known as Prajas. Lord Brahma, the creator of this particular universe, is known as the Prajapati because he is the grandfather of all who have taken birth. Thus, Praja is used in a broader sense than it is now used. The king represents all living beings, the aquatics, plants, trees, reptiles, birds, animals, and man. Every one of them is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And the king, being the representative of the Supreme Lord, is duty bound to give proper protection to every one of them. This is not the case with the presidents and dictators of this demoralized system of administration, where the lower animals are given no protection while the higher animals are given so-called protection. But this is a great science which can be learned only by one who knows the science of Krishna. By knowing the science of Krishna, one can become the most perfect man in the world. And unless one has knowledge in this science, all qualifications and doctorate diplomas acquired by academic education are spoiled and useless. Maharaj Yudhisthira knew this science of Krishna very well, for it is stated here that by continuous cultivation of this science or by continuous devotional service to Lord Krishna, he acquired the qualification of administering the state. The father is sometimes seemingly cruel to the son, But that does not mean that the father has lost the qualification to be a father. A father is always a father because he always has the good of the son at heart. The father wants every one of his sons to become a better man than himself. Therefore, a king like Maharaj Yudhisthira, who was the personality of goodness, wanted everyone under his administration, especially human beings, who have better developed consciousness to become devotees of Lord Krishna, so that everyone can become free from the trifles of material existence. His motto of administration was all good for the citizens. For as personified goodness, he knew perfectly well what is actually good for them. He conducted the administration on that principle and not on the Rakshasi, demonic principle of sense gratification. As an ideal king, he had no personal ambition. And there is no place for sense gratification because all his senses at all times were engaged in the loving service of the Lord, which includes the partial service to the living beings, who form the parts and parcels of the complete whole. Those who are busy rendering service to the parts and parcels, leaving aside the whole, only spoil time and energy as one does when watering the leaves of a tree without watering the root. If water is poured on the root, the leaves are enlivened perfectly and automatically. But if water is poured on the leaves only, the whole energy is spoiled. Maharaj Yudhisthira therefore was constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, and thus the parts and parcels of the Lord, the living beings under his careful administration, were perfectly attended with all comforts in this life and all progress in the next. That is the way of perfect management of state administration. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The sages of Naimisharanya, we saw how they are very eager to understand about Maharaj Parikshit. And thus Suta Goswami starts answering about Maharaj Parikshit. So first he tells the qualifications of the great king. Suta Uvacha, Sut Goswami said, Apipala Dharmarajaha. Emperor Yudhisthira administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. So how he was exactly like his father? It is told here. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. So the living entities need certain qualifications to occupy any post in this material world. Now we have set up some exams. You clear those exams and then you are qualified to become a warrior, to engage in any kind of vocational duty or business. Similarly, the Vedic system also needs certain positions to be held by people so that the society functions very smoothly. And the Varnashrama system of the Vedic culture, which is known as Hindu system, but Hindu is not the right word because there is nothing called Hindu religion. Just like there is nothing called American science. Science is science. Science is equally applicable to everyone. And if people in a region are very expert in certain thing, then maybe we can call it, loosely speaking, American science. Let's say Americans are very expert in AI. So we can call this American science everyone is understanding. Similarly, Hindu religion means Hindu is a geographical word. When the people who are living in Afghanistan, the other side of the Sindhu Valley, they could not call the word Sindhu, so they started calling Hindu. So people who are living on other side of the Sindhu Valley, they called Hindus. So it was a geographical term. But the technical name for this is Varnashrama system. So what is this Varnashrama system? Janmana Jayate Shudra. By birth, everyone is Shudra. So what is the Shudra? Those who are considered untouchables, those who are oppressed by the higher classes? No. So that was a deviation from the Vedic culture. Respect is given to all the living entities, as we see here. What is the meaning of Praja as per the Sanskrit dictionary? Praja means anyone who takes birth is called Praja. Anyone who takes birth either in human form or in non-human form, as plants, trees, or even as aquatics, everyone is considered Praja. And the king is supposed to take care of everyone's prosperity and comfort, not just human beings. That is a proper king. So anybody who takes birth is called Praja. And by birth, everyone is considered a Shudra. Janmana Jayate Shudra. But it does not mean that Shudra is something which is demeaning, which would be looked down by other people. No, respect would be given. When even non-moving entities are given so much respect, how much more respect would be given to the Shudras? So everyone was given respect, but of course, the respect was relative. Vaishya would be given more respect than Shudras. More respect would be given to Kshatriyas, and greatest respect would be given to the Brahmanas. So yesterday somebody asked me that how is it that the business class is given more respect than the working class? So the understanding is the person who is more qualified should be given more respect. How can we tell that the business class is more qualified than working class? Yes, they are more qualified because they are more independent. So human life is meant to attain independence. That is why we celebrate Independence Day as national holiday. All of us are seeking independence. Now there are different ways of seeking that independence. Small children, they seek independence by telling lies. They also want independence from parents. Have you eaten mud? No, I have not eaten mud. Similarly, we are seeking independence by technology. Nature imposes certain restrictions, but I want to invent my technology, my sciences, by which I can expand my independence. Ultimately, every living entity is seeking independence. We want to break free from the laws of nature. So that is why it is very, very simple to understand what is genuine spiritual process and genuine spiritual life, or genuine path for that matter. Any path which gives you independence, because that is what we are seeking. Nobody likes to be bound and limited. So anything which gives you independence, that is better process. So why the mercantile community is given more respect, the Vaishyas are given more respect than the Shudras? Because they are more independent. Shudra means anyone who takes a salary, who does job, they are considered Shudra. So the position of Shudra is compared to a dog. Dog is also given respect, but the position of Shudra is compared to dog. Anybody who does a job, his situation is like dog. Why dog? Because if a dog has master, dog lives very, very comfortably. Dog will live in the same house. Dog will travel in the same car. Probably it would sleep on the same bed if born in Kali Yuga. So dog is very comfortably placed. He gets all the comforts of the master, if he has got a master. And if dog does not have a master, then life is very, very pitiable. At night, dog is howling and crying. Why? They see ghosts, probably sometimes, but they are hungry. Prabhupada explains, everyone gets food, all the species of life except the dogs. The dog is a condemned species. They remain hungry. So that is why they cry at night, because of hunger. So if dog does not have master, then anybody would throw stone. Always dog is fearful. Somebody would beat me. Somebody would chase me. So life is very pathetic. So similarly, in our education, if a person studies very nicely, but one does not get a job, then situation is horrible. Layoffs are happening, this thing, and people are anxious. What will happen to me? So people have been trained that unless you get a job, then your life is useless. But this was not the situation, even of late, during the British era. The Indian education system was designed in such a way to make people independent, and thus nobody would take up jobs. Anybody who would go to a Vedic school, they would never pick up any job. They would be Brahmanas, Kshatriyas or Vaishyas. Only those people who did not go to the schools, they were Shudras, and they would take up jobs. So job was meant for people who did not go to schools. And if we see today's jobs also, they don't require higher education. Unnecessarily so much we study, 2% is used in the job. Either Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya. So Britishers became concerned that we are only handful. If these people don't work for us, then how can we rule over them? And then Macaulay was given the responsibility to do survey. And then he told, not possible. Unless we change their education system, we cannot rule over them. Because their education system teaches them independence. So then they changed the education system. And they gave this Macaulay education system or clerical education system, where people are bound to become clerks or servants. In this education, person is made so horribly dependent that unless we have a job, we cannot sustain our life. Life becomes horrible. That is why people are crying, there is unemployment, this is the issue. There is no issue. The issue is that people are trained to become employees, which was never taught in the Vedic culture. So what is Vedic culture? You remain independent. It is very simple. At least have a farm and grow your own food, grow your own clothes. All the necessities are supplied by the farms. And let the whole world go into war. Let there be inflation. Let there be any power crisis, any shortage. You are unaffected. Because whatever you need, you get on the land. Today, if there is war, internet breaks down, we would not be able to do anything. There is power shortage. We cannot even purify our water. We would die out of thirst. Would not be able to cook food. Your gas pipelines would not be there. LPG supply would not be there. How shall you cook? We would not be able to get food. Food will not reach us in the first place. The most advanced nation, Singapore, does not grow any food. Entire food is imported. Just imagine a country where there is no food. If there is war, everyone would die out of starvation. So this is life of extreme dependence. But Vedic culture means have your own piece of land, and then everything is produced by the land, and you are free. Just 3 months in a year you have to work, and then you are free to cultivate Krishna consciousness. As we saw in Bhagavatam, Krishna stayed. Right now we visit our relatives. How long? 1 or 2 days? Or 3 days, 5 days, maximum 1 week in a year. So earlier people would stay for 3-4 months easily. So from Navadvip, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would visit Jagannath Puri every year. And during entire rainy season, they would stay there 3-4 months very conveniently. Just imagine, can we imagine leaving our job for 3-4 months? Not possible. So people were so free. You have grown your crop and then you are free. Work for 3 months. And then your necessities are stored. You have it in place. So thus, if you are Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam, if you are protecting the cows, cultivating the land, doing trade and business, then you are free. You can work as per your necessity. So thus Vaishya is having more independence than the Shudras. So that is why they are considered better, because they have more independence. But a Shudra is completely dependent on others. Vaishya is not dependent on others. He simply depends on his own work. He grows his own food, clothing, fuel, everything. Everything is sufficiently met. But Shudra is dependent on others' mercy. And of course, now we take it it has become very normal for us. But otherwise, this is not something normal. It has been normalized. Otherwise, earlier people would take it as an offense. Oh, should I do job? Job was considered something extremely inferior. Uttam kheti, madham ban, adham chakri, bhik saman, it was told. Best is kheti, best occupation. Madham ban, business, trade comes after that. But adham chakri, doing service of others, it is adham. Adham means most abominable. Bhik saman, it is like begging. You have become a beggar if you are serving others for money. So it was considered extremely inferior. That is why Britishers had to create artificial famine so that people would work for them. They pick up jobs because people are satisfied growing their own food. So artificially they created famine so that people would pick up jobs eventually. Problem is not lack of jobs, but it is lack of consciousness. People have become so ignorant that they cannot imagine a life, independent life. They have been trained in a wrong way to pick up jobs only. And higher than Vaishya is Kshatriya. Kshatriya is more independent. Kshatriya, he does administration, he maintains all the amenities, and he gives protection to the people. And on behalf of giving protection, maintaining the amenities, doing administration, he collects taxes. So the Kshatriya survives by collecting taxes. And most independent are Brahmanas. Why they are most independent? Because they have minimal necessities of life. The more we have our necessities, the more we become dependent. That is why now people are living on EMIs. Why? More necessities. Why do people have more necessities? The senses are not controlled. I cannot wait. Immediately I want more enjoyment, more sense gratification. Thus I maintain the EMIs and then I become helplessly dependent. But because Brahmanas have got minimal necessities of life, there is no need, nobody can. Just Chanakya, he was giving services as a minister, but he was not taking any money. So thus when Chanakya was questioned, immediately he resigned. Nobody can question the character. The character was spotless because they are in no need of any money. So that was the case of the Brahmanas. So Varnashrama system is training people. Janmana jayate Shudra sanskarat bhavet dvijaha. By proper training, Shudra. Shudra means person who is untrained. He is qualified to become a Dvija. Dvija means one is eligible to enter into schools. And then further a person becomes eligible to become Vaishya. And if trained properly, one can become Brahmana. Unless one becomes Brahmana, one cannot control the senses. And thus one cannot be happy. So for happiness, one needs to be supremely independent. And that can only be possible when one's senses are fully under control. So this training is required. So for happiness, we need not have anything else. We need not hanker for jobs or businesses or anything else. We simply need to see how better a Brahmana I am becoming. Brahmana means whose senses are fully under control. So if the senses are under control, then a person is always peaceful. such a person can be happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Then a Brahmana goes on to understand, I am not the body, I am spirit soul. And then one remains unaffected by the changes of the body. So this was the situation of Brahmanas. And apart from Brahmanas, some kings also. They were also as good as Brahmanas. They were rishis. But they would rule as a matter of duty, so that everyone can be elevated to Brahmana status. So Vedic culture does not mean Brahmana's son would become Brahmana, no. Vedic culture means everyone should be educated, should be trained so that they can get elevated to Brahmanical platform. Higher secondary is better than high school. But it does not mean high school students will not be allowed to enter. Rather, purpose of high school is to train the kids so that they can reach senior secondary or higher secondary. Similarly, the purpose of existence of Shudra division is so that they can be elevated, trained to elevate to the higher standard of Vaishyas, then eventually Kshatriyas and Brahmanas. Just like today, only after finishing an education, one gets a job. Similarly, only when one comes to the level of Brahmana, one attains happiness, which is the aim of everyone. So the people who were trained to control their senses fully, they were called Brahmanas, and some kings, like it is mentioned here. The king also, Pitravat Ranjayan Praja Nispriha Sarva Kamebhya. He was also free from all desires. So today people want to become king. They want to become rulers, CEOs. Why? Because they have lot of desires. They want to become lawmakers or bureaucrats. Why? They have lot of desires. When IAS officer was given punishment posting in Ladakh, why? He emptied the whole stadium for his dog to stroll. He told the athletes to finish their practice early so that he can take a stroll with his dog and wife. So thus he was, so this is, and let entire stadium be reserved for me. So thus people are having unlimited desires, and actually they are unqualified. So our system is so unfortunate. It is not able to pick that these people want to do administration because they are greedy for power. They are greedy for more desires. Actually, a person should be king only one has controlled one's senses very nicely. Unless the senses are, because the king controls the opulence of the entire country, entire state. If the senses are not controlled, then king would be doomed and subjects also would be doomed. So for the country or the state to be in a situation of happiness, only the king has to be right. Only one person at top has to be right. Then everything falls in place. That is why it is told Ram Rajya. It is not told Ram Government Rajya. Many ministers are required. Then you can have a peaceful state. No, Ram Rajya. If a person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative is at top, then there would be all happiness in the state. So in this way, Varnashrama system would train people to eventually elevate to the Brahmanical platform, and respect was given to everyone. Just like we protect our legs, we protect our arms, everything is important. Similarly, Shudra also was given respect, Vaishyas were given respect, Kshatriyas were given respect, and Brahmanas. But Brahmanas were given more respect. That is all right. Mother is respected, father is respected, but grandfather is respected more. That is all right. Grandfather is respected more does not mean we will not respect our father and mother or uncle and aunt. Does not mean we will not respect our elder siblings. Everyone would be respected. But the parents deserve more respect than the siblings, and grandparents deserve more respect than the parents. This is Vedic culture. Everyone is respected. Even an ant is respected. What to speak of anything else? So it's a wrong version of the Vedic culture where the people who are apparently in a subordinate position, they were demeaned, they were oppressed. But the oppression was never the part. And to have the things in proper place, it is very important that the ruler should have no personal ambition. It is not easy. No personal ambition. That was a qualification of Parikshit Maharaj. And today the civilization is trained to become ambitious. As soon as you are trained to become ambitious, there would be corruption. So you should have ambition of serving Krishna very nicely. No personal ambition. So as soon as there is ambition, I want to show myself to the society, I want to show more riches, more opulences, more strength, more power, then there is corruption. People would like to reach that position by hook or by crook. So ideal king should be free from desires of any personal ambition. For Krishna's service, they are ruling. Otherwise, they are rishis. They have no interest. So Prahlāda Mahārāja, he is sitting in the forest. He has no interest in ruling. Manu is requesting, please become king. Prahlāda Mahārāja has no request. But then Brahma told, for administration we have no king, and nobody would be able to make progress towards Krishna consciousness if there is no proper king. So you please take up the responsibility of king. So although he had no interest, he took the responsibility of a king. So they were called Raj Rishis, saintly kings, who had no personal ambition, but they would rule only for the welfare. Just like an ideal father, he has got no personal ambition, he lives for the welfare of family. He may wear a simple shirt, but would give best of the clothes to his children. He may eat simple food, would offer best of the. He may live in a simple place, would desire the best of the things. He desires that his children should supersede his achievements. So that is the desire of a king, not to keep people under control, not that they should not advance more than me, no. The only desire of the king is that praja should be taken comfort of. They should advance very nicely. And thus it is told here that the king takes care of his praja, citizens like they are their own children. And unfortunately today, the concept of praja has been limited to only human beings, and animals are being slaughtered. This is very, very bad. Trees are also being slaughtered for producing some paper in which they will write insignificant things. Trees also cannot be killed for no reason. Trees are also praja. They are also living entities. So in this way, king is qualified to become king, or any person in leadership position is qualified to become a leader only when one has no personal ambition. And today the criteria is those who are very ambitious, they are given the post. So this is wrong. That is why mostly the bureaucrats are corrupt. Mostly the leaders are corrupt. The lawmakers are corrupt. Because they have personal ambition. No personal ambition, and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification. Now, how it is possible that a person can become free from all sorts of sense gratification? One can become free from personal ambition only when one is fully satisfied. We will fall for satisfying the senses if there is dearth of happiness and satisfaction in life. So that is why it is told here, Krishna Padanu Sevaya. How Parikshit Maharaj was able to free himself from sense gratification, because he was engaged in devotional service of Lord Krishna. This is the way, this is the only way rather. This is told in Bhagavad Gita, that we are having strong push of the material nature. It is very difficult to control the senses and mind. So how they can be controlled? Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samtityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Avyabhicharena bhakti, undeviated devotional service. When we engage, then sagunan samtityaitan, one rises above the modes of nature. So Krishna very clearly tells, Krishna does not tell Jnana Yogan, Karma Yogan, Bhakti Yogena Sevate. Not Karma Yogena, not Jnana Yogena. When we engage in devotional service of Krishna, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samatityaitan. He rises above the three modes of nature, passion, ignorance and goodness. This is the way of liberation. That is why great acharyas, they have given us program of remaining engaged in service of Krishna always. We tell, I don't get much interest in chanting, cannot chant beyond one round. And I remember when I started chanting, even chanting one round was very difficult. And many times I would check, have I gone into second round, why mala is not getting over? So it was difficult even to finish one round with concentration. That is why Prabhupada told, ideally we should chant 64 rounds. But you Westerners cannot concentrate for long. Thus I made it 16 rounds. It is very difficult to concentrate. Our minds are so disturbed and agitated. So people ask that, Prabhu, how do I chant more? How do I serve Krishna more? I don't get taste. So there is no need of taste. And there is no need of meditating for a long time. Devotional process is very simple. Whatever activities we are doing, we should do it in the service of Krishna. Very, very simple. That is called Bhakti Yoga. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Engage your senses in the service of Krishna. You are a businessman, do business, but don't enjoy the money which you are making by your business. You are working very nicely as a software engineer, as a doctor, as an accountant, as a lawyer. Work as a lawyer. Work as a diplomat. Work as whatever you are doing. Work as a politician, but don't enjoy your income. You offer the income to Krishna. Very, very simple. Or engage directly in service of Krishna. If you are a good cook, cook for Krishna always. If you can clean the floor of Krishna temple always. That will make us perfect. That will give us taste and interest to chant and hear about Krishna. And then we can chant 12, 16, 20, 30, 60 or 100 rounds. The more we engage in service of Krishna, the more we get pleasure. So devotional life is very simple. Nobody can live here without doing any work. The same work has to be done for Krishna. As simple as that. Very simple. The same result, the same money. If we engage for sense gratification, we are doomed. We increase addictions of life and miseries of life. And the same work, if you do for Krishna, the result, we make perfect spiritual advancement. We get knowledge, our mind is controlled, our senses are controlled. This is the way of surpassing the three modes of nature. And these were the qualifications of Maharaj Yudhisthira. We will end here unless there are any questions. We'll finish. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Subscribe to our channel, and to get the latest updates, do not forget to press the bell icon. Hare Krishna.